Welcome to our Global Voices interview series live from Washington, D.C. I'm Lana Wong, and I'm so pleased to be here with Alejandra Schrader, who is a Master Chef finalist, but also a passionate, sustainable food advocate. Before we dive into that conversation, I just want to say also welcome to our online audience. Please, will you join the conversation and submit any questions you may have in the comments section of the video. So Alejandra, let's dive in.
Yes.
You were formerly trained as an architect and an urban planner,
Yes.
which is fascinating.
Yes.
So can you tell everyone how you were able to make that shift from architecture into making food your profession?
Right. So it wasn't by choice necessarily, you know. I was a victim of the market crash that started in 2009. It didn't really get to me until 2010, but I lost my career. You know, I had a bachelor's in architecture, a master's in urban planning, and my focus was always sustainability. Once I lose my job and I was unemployed for a while, and the market wasn't coming back up, I was, let's just say, encouraged by friends and family to apply for a cooking show called Master Chef. And so I applied for that show, really being the motivation, the fact that it was a great cash prize, and I thought, well, at least I can pay for my student loans. And I was very fortunate. Out of about 38,000 applicants, I made the top 100 and then eventually made it into the show. I was selected fan favorite, and that gave me a platform to start a new career in the culinary world. So since then, since 2011, I've been very fortunate to be working in the culinary world. Now, I brought my passion for sustainability. I brought my interest in helping others, in equality, in helping small farmers, in nutrition out of my own personal experience. I've always struggled with overweight issues. I was morbidly obese at one point. A lot of it was based on the fact that I didn't have the proper nutrition growing up in a single, mother household in Venezuela, so in a third world country. And so these issues that were very personal to me, now I see I have a platform that I can help others. And so again, I utilize this newly found career as a way to spread the word about healthy eating, about the importance of, as consumers, supporting small farmers, which triggers so many beautiful things, livelihoods, women, like economic development for so many people. And so somehow I've been able to marry the two, to use my background in land planning, to incorporate my passion for food and make beautiful dishes using my architecture design eye, and now to be able to participate in programs like the Chef's Manifesto, be an ambassador for Oxfam America, which I want to tell you a little bit more about.
And more about the Chef's Manifesto
and more
as well.
about the Chef's Manifesto, but that's how it all came about. So it was sort of like a crazy, an unexpected, maybe at the time, scary situation, and I'm just been very fortunate to be able to make the best of it.
Wow, well, that's testimony to your talent and to your creative ingenuity. So I was at the Future of Food event earlier today, and the kind of Eat Lancet Commission report was talked about a lot.
Yes.
And so one key point that came out was that unhealthy eating is responsible for more deaths than smoking, alcohol, drugs, unsafe sex, all combined. That's crazy,
combined.
Right?
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
And one of the interesting things about the report is it already predicts like how many deaths we can avoid by shifting to a planetary health diet. Absolutely. So that tells you right there the importance of, on one end, stop the consumption of some of the, let's just say, less than healthy ingredients that are getting us sick, right? Red meat, sugary foods, salt, but then increasing the consumption of ingredients that will just enhance our quality of life, help our health, mentally, physically. I believe that food heals, but then also helping to fix our food system and helping solve some of the issues related to climate change.
Great. And so can we segue real quick to tell us about the Chef's Manifesto? You're a founding member of this collective, so we'd love to hear a little more about that.
Yes. So the Chef's Manifesto It's an effort that started by the SDG2 Advocacy Hub, and it started in 2016. It was only 16 chefs of us. We met in New York City. We started discussing ideas. How can we as chefs help create a plan that will push the accomplishment of the Sustainable Development Goals, focusing on the Sustainable Development Goal number 2, but really all of them. And by now we are hundreds of chefs from all over the world. We've grown, and this is a thematic framework that is created for chefs by chefs. And we were able to determine about 8 different thematic areas where we as chefs can have an impact. And again, having those have a positive impact in the accomplishment of the Sustainable Development Goals, all 17 of them.
That's fantastic, yeah. And so you grew up in Venezuela.
Yes.
And now you're based in LA.
Yes.
But I understand you're working with Latino communities to help teach cooking classes, and you're trying to empower people with limited incomes to have a healthy diet.
Right.
What is working to actually help those communities make that shift?
Right. Like, you know, growing up in Venezuela definitely allowed me to see the benefits of growing up in such a beautiful culture with such like amazing culinary palette and foundation, but at the same time, firsthand experience the negative effects of not having certain kind of proper nutrition growing up and not having access to, whether it was monetarily or geographically, to certain amounts of food. So now that I'm here in the United States, again, I just love being able to use my platform to help others. And you know, my Latino community is very dear to my heart. In Los Angeles, about 1 in every 4 children of Latino heritage have obesity, experience obesity, and some of them already non-communicable diseases. And so I try to work with the Latino community, teaching free cooking classes at community centers for children, for youth, and then for the moms, right? Because now we gotta teach the moms how to cook better for their children, and hopefully, you know, make a positive impact in their lives, expose them to new foods that they haven't tried before, and to foods that they may not think it's affordable, but teach them just creative ways of utilizing food, from root to leaves, from nose to tail, where there's no food waste, where having meals being planned, and maybe let's just say one day of the week, a Sunday afternoon, allocated for family meal prep, can show them how that has a positive effect in their pocket and on their health.
Amazing, that's great. And so you were a top 10 finalist for MasterChef, which we know about, and you were cooking under enormous pressure for Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
And then you also mentioned at the event that you're working on a new cookbook, right? So if I were to say you had 30 minutes or less and you wanted to cook something sustainable, but it was comfort food for you, what would you cook?
Right, so it depends on the time of the year. Right now, we're enjoying beautiful sun and warmer weathers. Again, the Latina in me would probably scream ceviche. There is a recipe that I developed for the Eat for Good campaign, which I work with in Oxfam, America. And this dish almost like brings every single step that is talked about in this program. The ceviche would be a hearts of palm ceviche, so we're using a plant-based ingredient instead of fish.
Great.
And it has amazing sweet potato and chocolate corn and red onions and lime juice, and it's just so tasty and so refreshing. But the key for me is that, let's just say, that dish illustrates a dish that is we're saving food because nothing is going to waste. We're supporting seasonal, buying local and seasonal ingredients. Where we're not consuming beef. Where we are supporting local farmers, because I like to go to my farmers market to buy all my ingredients. And finally, where I'm cooking smart, right? By making a ceviche, I don't need to utilize the stove. I don't need to utilize electricity, so I'm not generating a lot of heat in my house by having food cooking. So also helps the environment the way that I'm cooking my food.
That's fantastic. Great. Well, thank you so much, Alejandra. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
And, thank you to our online audience for joining us today. And please stay in touch and keep a look at this link, because we'll be bringing you more entrepreneurs, global leaders, thought leaders, all this week on our Global Voices interview series here on Facebook Live. And please join the conversation using the hashtag WBG Meetings. Thank you and see you soon.
Thank you.